Bernie Sanders released a new Iowa ad a couple weeks ago, and it's a short ad, but it's a stark reminder why he's such a phenomenal candidate.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
President Kennedy knew that settling for half measures wasn't good enough. So when candidates say we can't guarantee health care for all, make college affordable for all, combat climate change, or create a world at peace, remember, America is best when we strive to do big things, even when it's hard. I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
That was a great ad, and what hit me as I watched that is Bernie Sanders has, accidentally tripped up other Democrats to the point where they're almost all unwilling to make even a basic argument like he made right there. In other words, in previous election cycles, you would have even centrist Democrats pretend to agree with what Bernie just did there. Where, you play the clip of JFK, and JFK is like, we choose to do these things, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. We could do anything. And now then Bernie ties that into the real world stuff. Hey, Medicare for all, free college, ending the war, so on and so forth. It used to be the case that all the Democrats would agree with the rhetoric there. But since Bernie Sanders actually means it, what you're seeing is Democrats like Amy Klobuchar and others, they've been baited into the position of going, no, actually, we can't do anything we want. Do you not understand that even if you believe that we can't do anything, you still have to say that we can? That's politics 101. Is like, yeah, of course it's possible, and then we're going to do it. That's why you vote for me. I'm going to be the leader here. Since Bernie actually means it when he says that, so many other Democrats have been like, actually, no, we can't do anything we want. We have to be pragmatic. You have to meet in the middle. His mere presence in this race has just broken the brains of other Democrats and made them such abysmal candidates. And it's kind of hilarious to watch. Because Bernie Sanders, he's great in that he's plain spoken and he's a straight shooter. But also, he is a politician. He is a politician. And this is a politics kind of game. Oh, look, FDR, JFK, Civil Rights Act, and then marching. He's being a politician, and hey, here's the model. But now the other candidates have gotten to the point where they're like, no, that's not the model. I don't want to do that. The only one who says it still is Biden. But the thing about Biden that's so stark is he will literally spend 5 minutes arguing against Medicare for all, and then in the next breath he'll be like, but we could do anything. And that's too much of a contradiction. The contradiction is too upfront. So people are like, come on, dude, really? You just said we can't do 8 things, and now you're saying we can do anything. Which is it? So, I don't know, but that's a good ad. What I would have liked to see is, remember that video we played for you on this show of JFK arguing for Medicare for all? Bernie should have put that in an ad. Oh, that would have been badass. That would have been badass. JFK went Insky, and he was, basically destroying every nonsense right-wing argument against Medicare for all, but also now corporate Democrat argument against Medicare for all. And he was saying, don't say we can't do this. Of course we could do this, and here's why we could do this, and it's really straightforward. Imagine an ad, a Bernie Sanders ad, where that's playing. Because that's the thing is, oftentimes Bernie, and I do this too all the time, where I say, listen, all we're looking to try to do is what other developed countries have done. All we're looking for is social democracy. Look at Sweden, look at Norway, look at Iceland, look at Finland, so on and so forth. That's our model. But there's actually a rich American tradition of these ideas. And so to link it into the American tradition perhaps is more relatable for people. Granted, none of us were alive when FDR was president, but to link our ideology into the New Deal, to link our ideology into the war on poverty, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, to link our ideology into the civil rights movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his brilliant legacy, unions, the union movement, Eugene Debs, so on and so forth. That perhaps might be even more powerful, because then you're not invoking it's it's foreign inspiration. It's like, no, actually, these ideas are very American. And in the same way that you could say, and Dr. Cornel West makes this point brilliantly, he says, Donald Trump is as American as apple pie. I mean, he is. He's like the id of this country and the uber-capitalist nature of this country. But you know what else is American as apple pie? You know who else is as American as apple pie? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we have both of those things in our tradition. We have a rich democratic socialist tradition, a lefty tradition, and we have, you know, an uber-capitalist, consumerist, materialist, ego-driven id in our national fabric. So, but I love how Bernie is now, he's bringing in the U.S. traditions there. I just wish he did that Medicare for All ad with JFK. That'd be so cool. But I like this ad nonetheless because that quote from JFK actually does really sum up Bernie Sanders too. When he says, I'm choosing to do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. Yeah, I mean, taking on the for-profit health insurance companies, taking on Big Pharma, taking on Wall Street, taking on the military-industrial complex, that is all super hard because I got news for you. They run the damn country. So to invoke JFK and say, I'm the one who's actually going to do that. I'm the one who's going to do it. That's powerful stuff, man. And I don't want to speak too soon, but it could work. Come on, man. Pedal to the metal. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this done. Iowa's coming up soon. We got to do well in the first 4 states. Let's make a statement. Because right now, the race... A month and a half ago, if you asked me, and I've said it on the show, yeah, the race was down to Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Mayor Pete. Now, Elizabeth Warren and Mayor Pete kind of screwed themselves, and they're out of it. So really, the race is down to Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And the thing, it gave me a semi-Lightbulb moment the other day. When I was looking at the New York Times endorsement, where they went for both Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. Incredibly goofy, right? But I had a semi-Lightbulb moment there where I was like, well, hold on now. So Joe Biden, who he was the vice president, he is the kind of Democrat that the New York Times would fawn over. You know, he's been in these elite circles forever. And Joe Biden couldn't get the backing of his fellow elitists at a time when it really does look like it's just Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden left. What does that tell you? This dude is so beatable. This dude is so beatable. I mean, I take no joy in saying this, but melting brain Joe Biden is really struggling. He's barely coherent. And, you know, he's just trying to coast and limp across the finish line. And then we got this insurgent grassroots candidate who's defying all the odds and put in all the work and is bringing new people into the political process. And we're right there. The semi-Lightbulb moment was if Joe Biden couldn't even get the backing of his fellow elites at the New York Times, then he's going to win this race. When the coalition that he's cobbled together isn't even backing him? The people who are supposed to be his strongest allies? He's not getting that institutional support? See, Bernie can win without institutional support. In fact, his strength is that he doesn't have institutional support. Biden needs institutional support to win because he's an institutional candidate. And if Biden, the institutional guy, doesn't have the institution, you tell me what's going to happen, dog. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, man. Don't mess this up.